It's Tuesday, the day that time forgot. And we're back. How does it happen? I don't know. The magic of the tubes. I don't know how the interwebs work. I'm just hanging out here. I'm just, trying to stand upright. I'm having some dizziness. Yeah. So, Bill's stoned. Help him. Thanks for coming. Let's see how it goes, okay? One in a series of self-conscious boys, schooled on the island of misfit toys. You'll find in my pockets the tricks I employ for the only magic I know. My dad had a few moves and taught them to me. He'd let me sit in and sing harmony. I'd follow his fingers wherever they'd lead to the only magic I know. None of my teachers were ever aware of amazed concentration and wide open stare. They took me spelunking as if on a dare to the only magic I know. It can get dark in here on the way to the light, and it's sparse in here when there's nothing to write. And if you park in here, then there's no end in sight. I know. It can get dark in here on the way to the light, and it's sparse in here when there's nothing to write. And if you park in here, then there's no end in sight. I know. Still standing out here on these boards, scratching these vocals and strumming these chords. There's a girl in the front row who never looks bored by the only magic I know, by the only magic I know, by the only magic I know. There you go. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Treehouse. Treehouse concert number 11. We've been doing this since, well, when was the first one? April the 2nd. Yeah. We're at number 11 now. And the dizziness has struck. I don't know what, this morning I was doing my morning stretches and something went gavongity. Something went gavongity. My sister Marion knows the term, and I've been kind of woozy ever since. But hey, wooziness isn't necessarily a bad thing, if you think about it. Perhaps we can use the wooziness to our advantage. Let's see. Anyway, if I seem a little extra goofy tonight, I'm covering. I wanted to talk about this. People have asked my guitar strap. I have had this guitar strap since 1976. 1976, my friend Dave Fernald made this for me in a shop class. It was like a leather shop class. They must have had leather shop at Wilson. I don't know. He was at Wilson High School, and he took a leather shop class, and he made me this, and he gave it to me. And right here on the inside, it says, "To Bill from Dave, 1976." Right there. I told him I would never take it off my guitar, and I have not done that. It's been on several guitars, but that's the story of my guitar strap. And 1976 plays a part in tonight's performance because we're going to be enjoying the poetry of Richard Hugo tonight. Richard Hugo is like a giant sequoia in my consciousness. And Richard Hugo really, he died when he was 58. So he never got a chance to be an old man. He never got a chance to soften up. You know how you soften up when you get older? Maybe not all of you young people out there quite know that yet. But you do. You soften up. You come to terms with yourself. You make peace with a lot of the things that you did wrong earlier in your life. It's a good thing if you get a chance to live a full life. And Richard Hugo didn't get that chance. There's a 1-hour documentary called "Kicking the Loose Gravel Home." It's on YouTube if you want to check it out. There's an hour-long documentary about Richard Hugo. And I watch this thing probably 2 or 3 times a year. And the reason I watch it is because I love Richard Hugo and I love his poetry. But 1976 America, 1976 Seattle, 1976 West Seattle, the cars, the grit, the neon, the polyester, the hairdos, This was my childhood. This was the world. 1976 is the year we graduated, or I graduated from high school. And so to see that world, it's like an amazing window into that world, that little hour-long documentary, which I'm so glad exists. So I'm going to read some Richard Hugo tonight. But you got to understand about Richard Hugo. He was a product of his time, bit of a redneck. "What Thou Lovest Well Remains American." That's the first Richard Hugo book that I was introduced to in that poetry or literature of the Northwest class that I've mentioned here before. This was the book, and I didn't get it. Richard Hugo did not speak to me in that class. I had this book. It's right here. I read it cover to cover. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And spring of 1978, Richard Hugo came to Whitworth College and read on campus. But I wasn't there. Yeah, that spring was also the very first Whitworth College poetry writing workshop. I was in that class, taught by Dr. Phil Eaton, who went on to be president of SPU for many years. And Diane Wiseman was in that class. Alan Hicks was in that class. Tim Vernon was in that class. Lori Lamont was in that class. And other people, Dirk Stratton was in that class. Other people whose names I don't remember, but it was a stellar group of people. And Richard Hugo was coming to campus. But me and Alan Hicks and Tim Vernon were absent because we were over here at the Seattle Center Coliseum seeing Jethro Tull the night that Richard Hugo performed at Whitworth College. But my friend Marcia Erickson got me a cassette of the Richard Hugo reading. And when I heard Richard Hugo read his poems, boom, boom, he came to life. And that was the first time I realized that if I can hear the poet reading the poetry, then I get it. Then it speaks to me. I can hear the voice. Richard Hugo's this blue-collar guy. He grew up in White Center down there in South Seattle and was a technical writer at Boeing. But he studied with Theodore Retke at the University of Washington. He used to hang out at the Blue Moon Tavern with Theodore Retke. He was a bombardier in World War II. He was 20 years old as a bombardier on a B-52. Flew 35 missions. This is called Snapshot of the Auxiliary. This is the first poem he read at the Whitworth College reading. I've got his voice in my head. I will share it with you. In this photo, circa 1934, you see the women of the St. James Lutheran Women's Auxiliary. It is easy to see they are German, short, squat, with big noses, the sadness of the Dakotas in their sullen mouths. These are exceptions. Mrs. Kite, English, who hated me. I hated her and her husband. Mrs. Norraine, Russian, kind. She saved me once from a certain whipping. Mrs. Hilborn, Swedish, I think, cheerful. Her husband was a cop. None of them seem young. Perhaps the way the picture was taken. Thinking back, I never recall a young face, a pretty one. My eyes were like this photo, old. This one is grandmother. This my Aunt Sarah, still living. That one, I forget her name, the one with maladjusted sons. That gray in the photo was actually their faces. On gray days, we reflected weather color. Lutherans did that. It made us children of God. That one sang so loud and bad I blushed. She believed the words. She turned me forever off hymns, even the good ones, the ones they founded jazz on. Many of them have gone the way wind recommends, or, if you're religious, God. Mrs. Norraine, thank the wind, is alive. The church is brick now, not the drab board frame you see in the background. Once I was alone in there, and the bells started to ring. They terrified me home. This next one in the album is our annual picnic. We are all having fun. So yeah, that's Richard Hugo. I just love this poetry. I just love this. I don't know why it speaks to me, but it's, Richard Hugo's like my dad, some ways, He's like a dad, but he's got old school dad ideas, which now I've probably got. It's one of those things, you young people out there, you're going to live long enough, then you're going to look back 40 years on where you grew up, and some of it's going to embarrass you. It's just inevitable. It's just inevitable. This one's called Time to Remember Sangster. Oh, I'm sorry. I believe the hand has something.
I didn't want to.
Well, no, that's all right. That's all right, hand. Ooh, thank you. Wait. The hand is here. She has promised to steady me if I fall down because of the dizziness. She will pick me up. All right. Bill Willem says, Jethro Tull kicked the gravel home. I love it. Oh, look at this. The whole family is here. James, my son, is here. My daughter Alice. Gary and Mary are here. My sister Mug and my mom. Jim Endicott. Amelia, my other kid. My kids! All right. Thank you, Hand. Thank you, Bill Willem. Kicking the loose gravel home. It's a great documentary. You got to watch it just once. You get to hear him speak, and then you get the feeling. You get the feeling. Where did I lose my place here? I have to remember Sangster. I've got 3 poems from this book, and then I've got... The thing is about Richard Hugo, he's so huge in my life. Let me show you. This is all of it. This is about all you need. This is Richard Hugo. This is Making Certain It Goes On. That's his collected poetry. I bought the second edition of it because I wanted William Kittredge's introduction, which wasn't in the first edition, which I also own. It's getting kind of beat up. I cracked the spine a few years ago, so I decided to get a paperback and give this guy a break. I've had that guy since it came out. Then we have The Real West Marginal Way, which is called A Poet's Autobiography. It's a series of essays that he wrote about his youth. We have The Triggering Town, which is a book of essays on poetry and writing, which is indispensable. And then, for fun and frolic, Death and the Good Life. He wrote a mystery novel, and he was working on a sequel to it when he died. He died too young. It will be one of my all-time regrets that I don't get to read the poetry that he would have written as an older man, because he was happy. He was getting happy. Time to remember Sangster. One of us would spot his horse, same white as his mustache, and word traveled on warm air. While he solicited orders at doors, we stole pears from his cart, that battered gray board flatbed held together by luck. He was obsolete as promise. His apples felt firm green, and his cherries were loaded with black exploding sun. Those days seemed ripe as women we expected to meet under flowering trees when we grew up. Summer and summer he came, he, the horse, and the cart beyond aging, all three frozen 92. To children he was old as tears. We asked him what caused weather. We asked him about future wars. He sat mute as orchards abandoned to the heat. Summer on summer our delighted thieving went on until he died and summer went void. They took me to his funeral, open casket. I exploded when I saw him, his mustache touched up blue, not looking like it looked, his eyes shut tight as a canyon wall of sand. They dragged me into the light. Days I walked alone our street that empty summer, telling dogs, it's wrong. 35 years later in England, a place called Enfield, I saw 3 white horses in a field so close to town they seemed to not belong. I decided then I liked the English. I never thought of him. Okay. This is one of my favorites. God. This is like Richard Hugo's, his global warming poem or something. It's called Plans for Altering the River. He really gets a good rhythm going in this one that I like so much. I like his rhythm. He's got a great rhythm. It's very plain spoken. The guy, if you see him, you'll understand. He drinks beer. He smokes cigarettes. He's got a big belly. He's got this amazing guttural laugh. That tape that Marcia Erickson sent to me, I have digitized it. It has been on every computer I have ever owned. I listened to it today. I have probably listened to that recording more than I've listened to most of my Jethro Tull albums, just to be fair. And one of the reasons that I delight in that recording is that Marcia Erickson's laugh is there throughout, because Hugo is funny and Marcia laughs. And all the Whitworth crowd, this tentative applause after every poem, it's so strange to listen back to. What was wrong with us? The guy was real. He was like a guy from down the street. He was like the guy that would come across the alley and stand around the burn barrel with my dad smoking cigarettes and drinking Miller High Life and talking politics of the day. You know, he was just a guy from the neighborhood. Plans for altering the river. Those who favor our plan to alter the river, raise your hand. Thank you for your vote. Last week, you'll recall, I spoke about how water never complains, how it runs where you tell it, seemingly at home, flooding grain or pinched by geometric banks like those in this graphic depiction of our plan. We ask for power. A river boils or falls to turn our turbines. The river approves our plans to alter the river. Due to a shipwreck downstream, I'm sad to report our project is not on schedule. The boat was carrying cement for our concrete rip-rap balustrade that will force the river to run east of the factory site through the state-owned grove of cedar. Then, the uncooperative carpenters union went on strike. When we get that settled, and the concrete, given good weather, we can go ahead with our plan to alter the river. We have the injunction. We silenced the opposition. The workers are back. The materials arrived and everything's humming. I thank you for this award, this handsome plaque I'll keep forever above my mantle, and I'll read the inscription often aloud to remind me how with your courageous backing I fought our battle and won. I'll always remember this banquet, this day we started to alter the river. Flowers on the bank? A park on Forgotten Island? Return of cedar and salmon? Who are these men? These Johnnies come lately with plans to alter the river. What's this wild festival in May celebrating the runoff? Display floats on fire at night and a forest dance under the stars? Children sing through my locked door. Old stranger, we're going to alter the river. Just when the water was settled and at home. Plans to alter the river. Okay. All right. Someone keeps texting me. Who's texting me? Is that Cindy? Uh-oh. 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 I don't know. I don't know what's going on, Cindy. Is everybody okay out there? Everybody can see okay? Everything's good? We got signal? So I've read 3 of the 7 Richard Hugo poems I want to read. The next one, ooh man, they get better. They get better. When he came to Whitworth, he had just finished what would end up being his last published book, which was called The Right Madness on Skye. It's interesting to me that Richard Hugo spent part of a year with his wife and his stepchildren on the Isle of Skye, the place where Ian Anderson of Jethro Tull owned a salmon farming operation. I kid you not. They ended up on the same island. So that's a little spooky. But we'll save the spookiness for a time when I'm not so dizzy, okay? All right. This is a song about denial. Yeah. It's called Johnny Seeks Treatment. Security. I think you mean that you can't decide. I think you mean that you might be stopping here. I think you wonder how much of it lies. And while you're standing by, I know between your tongue and your eyes, oh, you don't want to go. I think you mean you can't cut the company. I think you mean you can't cut the cane. I think you mean you can't make the rendezvous. I think you mean you're erasing my name. And while you're standing by, I know between your tongue and your eyes, oh, you don't want to go. You don't want to go. No, babe, I didn't take your money to fly out of this padded daylight. I got enough here to last till Christmas. It's for the two of us, for the two of us. I thought you meant your options were unlimited. I thought you meant your mirror wouldn't shatter. Who would have thought you'd turn up spouting rhetoric? Who would have thought that it mattered? And while I'm standing by, you know, in the back of my mind, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I don't want to go. Johnny Seeks Treatment was the name of that one. It's from the album Gravity. I meant to say earlier on, happy birthday, Andy. Andy Cope. It's his birthday today. My nephew, Andy Cope. My daughter's youngest boy. Andy Cope's birthday. Last week, Leanna White's birthday. Yeah, Leanna White's birthday was last Tuesday. So happy belated birthday, Leanna, if you're out there. Oh, the hand has returned. Don't wave your arm like that, boy. Woo! It's good. It's good. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. I won't fall over, I don't think. Betsy is out there. Good evening, man. Bob Crandall? Rob Crandall juggling clubs flying in the Met House? Are you naked? Are you juggling flaming torches right now naked, Rob Crandall? I hope your wife is nearby watching. Bill is living in the past with Richard Hugo. Don't you think the metaphors, I'm not sure how well they blend, but we're jamming them together, and I think it works. The whole Isle of Skye thing, you couldn't have made that up. You couldn't make that up. Sorry. I'm fine. 7:26. Okay, I'm looking at the time because there's certain things I want to fit in. Cindy wants to hear a song. Diane wants to hear a song. We got to get those in. But before that, I got to get this one out of the way. Now, as you know, I've been going back and relearning some of my old songs, And, I thought I did King of the Art a few weeks ago. And I thought to myself, yeah, that's really the only song I've ever written out of anger. Well, I found another one. And I was not just angry. I was shocked and I was disillusioned when I wrote this song. So I got the feeling, and Diane, I think, agrees with me, this may be the last time I ever performed the song I'm about to perform. The song is called Faked Awareness Day. And it's from an album called Lifelike. And, it's actually a pretty good song, I think, when I look at it objectively. It's a pretty good song, but I don't like the way I'm feeling in it. Not at all. It came from a time when myself and I believe Jim Page was involved and Hal Brooks, we were all working for the summer at a place called Washington Fair Share. That's where I first met my friend Mike Buckman. Yeah, was at Washington Fair Share. And this was during the Clinton administration, and we were trying to pass national health care. But the way we were doing it is we were calling people during dinner time and asking them to contribute money so that we could pay off the politicians so that they would vote the way we wanted them to. You can kind of imagine that that's the way politics works, but we were kind of in the trenches there for that summer. It was very disheartening to realize what it is, what kind of an operation we were actually involved in. Going in, you kind of just, we're raising money to, and then something like that. But then as you're doing it, you're kind of like, we're buying votes. We're buying influence. This really is the way it works. And, that's kind of disillusioning. So I was quite disillusioned at that time. And I believe it comes through in the song, is the thing. So, and Mike Buckman luckily remains a dear friend of mine to this day, and he's working for Solid Ground now and has for many, many years, and that's a wonderful organization. Definitely worth our support. And as you can tell, that national health care thing, that we took care of that. This was probably 1988 we're talking about here, around in there. Somewhere in that time, 89, around there, 90 maybe. One of those summers. It was a summer job. I did not discover a new career. I cannot be an activist. There's a certain kind of a mindset that an activist possesses, and I just don't have it. I don't have it. It's too much like this song, and I don't want to live like this.
Arthur and the Marlboro Man are banging in their shrouds, glowing faces playing much too loud. Tempered but still testifying, donate to their cause, accidentally drown them in applause. Loosen your last gray gram of guilt. Give it away. Don't you know it's Faked Awareness Day? Take out all your pocket planners. Please be organized. One more stack of plastic passing by. Look through all the recent papers. Try and act surprised. Boycott started sometime last July. Stuff some recycled envelopes. They'll pay you to stay. They must know it's Faked Awareness Day. Ba-do-da-do-da-do, feeling groovy. Ba-do-da-do-da-do, feeling groovy. Someone with a clipboard's on your porch. They expect you to pay. They should know it's Faked Awareness Day. You went to the Hilltop Mall to register to vote. Plastic Jesus hung inside your coat. You don't know whose name you wrote. It was dark and the pencil broke. Jam your good intentions down their throats. Pass out your poison handshake, then push them out of the way. Don't they know it's Faked Awareness Day? Pass out your poison handshake, then push them out of the way. Don't they know it's Faked Awareness? Read the book and couldn't care less. Go to sleep, you can't repair this day. Ba-do-da-do-da-do-da. Arthur and the Marlboro Man. See, I don't know. It's just not the kind of thing. Not the kind of thing. Not the kind of thing. I don't know. Anyway. Uh-oh. Yeah, let's see. Oh, the hand is back.
I don't think that you can get rid of that song.
Really?
Mark Kenny said he was playing bongos, and Bill Willem has waited for Faked Awareness Day for years.
Really? Oh no. But it's so, something. Okay. Lee Fox graduated in 1988. Yeah. Okay, so I'm more elderly than you, Lee. Yeah. Bill has waited for Faked Awareness Day for years. And Bridget's here. Bridget Lacey. Hi, Bridget. Wanted to say hi to Rochelle, too, who's out there. Yeah, Jeff Steve is out there. Mark. I don't know, man. Bongos. Yeah, the bongos would be good on that. Yeah. Well, here's the thing, Mark. You got to learn it, and then you can play it. You can carry it forward. How's that? Maybe not. Oh, it's time for more Richard Hugo. I'm sorry, I'm a little scatterbrained tonight. Okay, where did I put the rest of it? Covered it up with notes. This used to be my absolute favorite Richard Hugo book, 31 Letters and 13 Dreams. It is comprised of 31 epistolary poems and 13 dream poems. I'm only going to read one out of these. All of the letters are written to other poets of his time. So there's a letter in here to Gary Snyder. There's a letter in here to William Stafford. There's a letter in here to Denise Levertov. Letters to Marvin Bell. Letters to, all kinds of people. Some of them that are favorite poets of mine. Letter to Peterson from Pike Place Market. It's an amazing book. But I want to read Letter to Simic from Boulder. I've got 2 stars written above this poem that I put in there when I was still at Whitworth College. When did this book come out? 1977. So I mentioned that Richard Hugo was a bombardier in World War II, right? Okay. Mystery beverage. Thanks for the cup, Mom. I hope Mom and Mug heard me when I thanked them for the Father's Day cards. This is to Charles Simic, who's an amazing poet. Letter to Simic from Boulder. Dear Charles, and so we meet once in San Francisco, and I learn I bombed you long ago in Belgrade when you were 5. I remember. We were after a bridge on the Danube, hoping to cut the German armies off as they fled north from Greece. We missed. Not unusual, considering I was one of the bombardiers. I couldn't hit my ass if I sat on the Norden or rode a bomb down singing the Star-Spangled Banner. I remember Belgrade opened like a rose when we came in. Not much flack. I didn't know about the daily hangings, the 80,000 Slavs who dangled from German ropes in the city, lessons to the rest. I was interested mainly in staying alive, that moment that plane jumped free from the weight of bombs and we went home. What did you speak then? Serb, I suppose. And what did your mind do with the terrible howl of bombs? What is Serb for fear? It must be the same as in English, one long primitive wail of dying children, one child forever fixed in dead stare. I don't apologize for the war or what I was. I was willingly confused by the times. I think I even believed in heroics for others, not for me. I believed the necessity of that suffering world, hoping it would learn not to do it again. But I was young. The world never learns. History has a way of making the past palatable, the dead a dream. Dear Charles, I'm glad you avoided the bombs, that you live with us now and write poems. I must tell you, though, I felt funny that day in San Francisco. I kept saying to myself, he was on the ground that day, the sky eerie mustard, and our engines roaring everything out of the way. And the world comes clean in moments like that for survivors. The world comes clean as clouds in summer, the pure puffed white, soft birds careening in and out, our lives with a chance to drift on slow over the world, our bomb bays empty, the target forgotten, the enemy ignored. Nice to meet you finally after all that mindless hate. Next time, if you want to be sure you survive, sit on the bridge I'm trying to hit and wave. I'm coming in on course, but nervous and my crosshairs flutter. I'm coming in on course, but nervous and my crosshairs flutter. Wherever you are on earth, you are safe. I'm aiming, but my bombs are candy, and I've lost the lead plane. Your friend, Dick. It's a good poem. It's a good poem. Okay. The Right Madness on Sky. He got a Guggenheim grant and was able to go and spend time on the Isle of Skye. He says in the reading, the album that I love to listen to again and again, he says, I told the Guggenheim people that if they gave me the money, I'd go to Scotland and write a book of poems. Well, they gave me the money, and I've written the book. He seemed quite amazed that he'd actually done it. So the first one I want to read is called Glen Uig. Glen Uig, also called the Fairy Glen. Believe in this couple this day who come to picnic in the Fairy Glen. They pay rain no matter, or wind. They spread their picnic under a gale-stunted rowan. Believe they grew tired of giants and heroes, and know they believe in wise tiny creatures who live under the rocks. Believe these odd mounds, the geologic joke played by those wise tiny creatures far from the world's pitiful demands, make money, stay sane. Believe the couple, by now soaked to the skin, sing their day as if dry, as if sheltered inside Castle Uin. Be glad Castle Uin's only a rock that looks like a castle. Be glad for no real king. These wise tiny creatures, you'd better believe, have lived through it all. The Viking occupation, clan torturing clan, the clearances, the World War II bomber gone down, a fiery boom on Ben Edra. They saw it from here. They heard the sobs of last century's crofters trail off below where every day the Conan sets out determined for Uig. They remember the Viking who wandered off course under the hazelnut tree, hating aloud all he'd done. Some days dance in the bracken. Some days go out wide and warm all bad roads to collect the dispossessed and offer them homes. Some days celebrate addicts, sweet in their dreams, and hope to share with them a personal spectrum. The loch here's only a pond, the monster in it small as a wren. Believe the couple who have finished their picnic and make wet love in the grass, the wise tiny creatures cheering them on. Believe in milestones, the day you left home forever and the cold open way a world wouldn't let you come in. Believe you and I are that couple. Believe you and I sing tiny and wise and could, if we had to, eat stone and go on. Glenuig. This one's called Mill at Ramsdal. This is for Dr. Callum McRae, who is a friend, a fishing companion that Richard Hugo met in Scotland. And it's an old rundown mill, no longer in use. Mill at Ramsdal. They talked about reopening the mill. It was kind of a pipe dream they talked about while they were fishing. One look at this mill and the adjacent croft, the local intimate way grass slants to the mill, the sea beyond the broken water wheel, and we know here we could keep some private promise to improve. We could reinforce the floor where grain was milled, repair the tracks for the grain cart, redivert the small stream back into the flume and start the mill again. Send word out now, your miller is open to all who bring raw grain. If we could turn our lives that way, the way the millstones turn, slow and even, the milled grain falling dreamy all day, every day but Sunday, into carts, we'd find some recent peace, a composure we never quite trust in family portraits. We'd be wise to allow for the lock that hammers inside, and that man not on record who broke one day in the byre and demanded the cattle say thanks. With this lock pale in our faces and money collected last year for milling turning to dust at the touch, we really are happy. Our voices run down late summer, the stream without pressure and the water wheel limp. If we count bones found on Skye, we get Celtic a lot, Viking very few, despite 3 centuries of occupation and Nordic names that hang on, Hinensdal, Monkscat, Eyre. The Viking bones found here don't care what we or the man they belong to did. They don't blush for their part in oppression, innocent women in shock. There's a way of saying, yes, we were rotten, so what? Of saying at any time we want to, the sea that answers softly in Gaelic and doesn't indict. We won't restore the mill, the water wheel's broken beyond repair, and if we got the 2 stones back in gear and grinding, no one raises grain today on this island. The modern Norwegian ships need papers to sail these waters. The Viking bones are in Glasgow for date and classification. We own the mill in the warmest sense of own. Let's keep it run down. Let's keep the crofter's cottage empty and cold. If anyone asks for a miller, we'll say, that's what we were once, and worse. This is what we are now. So the truth is, I'm probably going to have to come back to Richard Hugo. I'm probably going to have to come back to several of the poets that I've introduced you to. Sorry. Because I've barely scratched the surface of my adoration for them, is the thing. And it's the adoration that keeps me coming back. The poets that I've shared with you are the ones that I go to when I need a kick, when I need something to get me going, to get my writing happening when it's not, or if I'm feeling dull-headed or dizzy. It's poetry that brings me back. I've always thought that it was odd that I'm a singer-songwriter, I'm a musician, in air quotes. I'm a guitar player who writes songs. That's what I am. But I studied poetry in college. I went to college and studied poetry. And I was writing songs even as I was studying poetry. So maybe the reason I went to Whitworth is so that I could do this. So that I could bring the two things together on a night like this for people like you. Maybe. Diane wanted to hear this.
Sanctuary polishing brass. Jesus at the window, he's captured in glass. I'm lacing up my sneakers, packing up my things. Gotta hit the road before the doorbell rings. God loves civil disobedience. God lends a helping hand. He's there at my ear when the time comes to take a stand. He says, "Oi, what a crazy land, eh?" Well, I tried to write my senator, tried to write the press, but no one seems to listen until you make a mess. I contemplated terrorism through that way. I don't want to hurt nobody, now I just want my say. God loves civil disobedience. God had some trouble too. He's there at my ear when I can't think of nothing to do. He says, "Boy, I got a job for you." It's a burning bush, it's a burning tree. Ralph is standing there and he's looking at me, says, "I'll write it down if you'll take it to town. We got a mission, we got permission." Yeah, well, I never burn the building, I don't sink ships. I got a can of spray paint and a good set of lips. I shout from the rooftops, paint on them too, so when the bombers fly over, they know who to screw. God loves civil disobedience. God lends a helping hand. He's there at my ear when the time comes to take a stand. He says, "Oi, what a crazy land you got here. You call it America? Hey!" God loves civil disobedience. God had some trouble too. He's there at my ear when I can't think of nothing to do. He says, "Boy, I got a job for you." Yes, you. God loves civil disobedience. God loves civil disobedience. God loves civil disobedience. Say, "Oh, God loves civil disobedience." Say, "Oh, God." Oh, God. Say, "Oh." That was for the hand. What the hand wants, the hand shall have. Yes. Yes, indeed. I like getting requests. So, and since I'm learning a lot of the old songs, I guess I can, people can request stuff that previously I would have said, "Forget it. Forget about it. Forget it." I know, it's weird. But I also have to play what I'm feeling, Got to play what I'm feeling. I keep thinking last week, man, I was on the edge of wetness. I mentioned it. Yes, it was strange, but good. Once in a while, the gigs are just kind of like that, and a lot of times they're kind of like this. Which is, Old men are shadows of the way things should have been. On my back porch we gather to review the wheres and whens. We were not bred for idle time, yet we don't feel ill at ease. 'Cause we can dance around the laughing eyes of the ones we still seem to please. Yeah, we're deep in the third act, close to the fire and the coal sack, like old Abednego and Shadrach, or the moths on the sill. It means we still got the climax, and all the stuff that happens after that. Exchange the hot for the cold facts, just like we probably will. Old men are shadows of the dreams that made them young. Our children climb the ladders while we brace the bottom rungs. It's a long day mending fences, but it pays well in the end. 'Cause we can dance around the laughing eyes in the arms of our best friends. Yeah, we're deep in the third act, close to the fire and the coal sack, like old Abednego and Shadrach, or the moths on the sill. It means we still got the climax, and all the stuff that happens after that. Exchange the hot for the cold facts, just like we probably will. We were made fools by money, sold that comfort comes with time. We've been lied to by a system that was built on other crimes. We were fooled by the mirror when it made us look so trim and young. Oh, but love's never made a fool of us, other than a willing one. Old men are shadows of the way things should have been. On my back porch we gather to review the wheres and whens. It's a long day mending fences, but it pays well in the end. 'Cause we can dance around the laughing eyes in the arms of our best friends. Yeah, we're deep in the third act, close to the fire and the coal sack, like old Abednego and Shadrach, or the moths on the sill. It means we still got the climax, and all the stuff that happens after that. Exchange the hot for the cold facts, just like we probably will. It means we still got the climax, and all the stuff that happens after that. Exchange the hot for the cold facts, just like we probably will. Exchange the hot for the cold, just like we probably will.
Old Married Men, that's called. Yeah, I didn't like that song when I first wrote it. But I like it better now. I like it quite well, in fact. Yes. Cindy Snyder. Cindy Snyder. Now, Cindy was texting me. She may have been having technical difficulties. So, are you out there, Cindy? I don't know, man. Give me a sign. Give me a sign. This one's called Learn to Say Goodbye, also known as lips among, certain groups. There are factions who insist on calling it lips. Play lips, Bill. I've been hearing that since the 1980s. Hey, have you played lips yet? Play lips. Hey, Bill, have you played lips? What's that one, the lips one? Yeah. For Cindy. When you know I'm on my lips, but I still got my dignity. I'm on my lips. My mommy is calling me. I'm on my lips. Let's speak in broader terms. I'm on my lips. Roll over this bed of worms. You see, I'm gonna write a book about it. Read the ledgers red. Retire to Micronesia. Put a bullet in my head. I'm on my lips. I'm
I'm on my lips. My eyes don't focus right, I'm on my lips. Guess I'm afraid they might, I'm on my lips. Just look at these toasted clothes, I'm on my lips. Not to mention the bloody nose, 'cause I've been beaten up and brutalized with things that I have said. And now I'm doing my level best to place my face beneath the tread. I'm on my lips. I'm on my lips, yes sir. And night on night I try to think up an alibi. And night on night I try to learn to say goodbye. I'm on a I'm on my lips. It's not a real gun. I'm on my lips. They wouldn't sell me one. I'm on my lips. Must have been my checkered past. I'm on my lips. Maybe the body cast. I got rope and dope and blasting caps to see me to the end. But if I'm gonna find a match, I might be forced to make a friend. I'm on my lips. I'm on my lips right now, yes sir. And night on night I try to think up an alibi. I think it did boom boom. And night on night I try to learn to say goodbye, goodbye, goodbye.
Cindy. Yeah, she'll catch it on the replay. So, once again, I want to say, if you listen to CDs, hit me up. Give me your postal address, I'll send you one. Yeah. Because, I got boxes full of them down in my garage, right down there. I can almost see them from here, There was a big hole in the floor right here and then a hole in the floor down below us. And I'd probably be looking at the boxes of CDs. So we had Father's Day this last weekend, so I guess I'm going to play Father's Day. I've got a few more. I may run a little over tonight. I'm dizzy. What the heck? Who knows? Next week I may have to be, I may have to do it laying down or something. We'll get the thing, look over and be coming over my head, will be looking down at me. I'll be laying on my back playing my guitar. Maybe not, but weirder things could happen. This is for my son.
Where is the sun? I've been searching all day. Down an intricate network of roads where he's likely to stray. Where it's spoken in eyes and printed in skin. The infinite network of cells that connects me to him. Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Is he driving away? With a claw at the tip of his tongue so there's nothing to say. With a heart full of hands that are aching for touch, and a head full of innocent fears about feeling too much. Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Where is the sun? I guess everyone knows the pull between a man and a boy, how it swells as he grows, and the pivotal scene. They let go of the rope. All the words and the plans are released, leaving only the hope. Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Where is the sun? He's still living in me, with pages of unanswered questions he no longer sees. So he passes them on without thinking of cost, in the hope that the echoes of blood will replace what is lost. Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Here is the sun. Where is the sun? Where is the sun? Here is the sun. Here is the sun.
Father's Day. Wow. I've told you that I look at a picture of my dad. It's right above the little light on the camera on my laptop. It's a picture of my dad staring back at me. Got two more for you.
The day I was older, I thought about Dad, his cartoon faces and the talks that we had. I picked up this guitar and played something sad, and that was the day I was older. The day I was older, I called my best friend. We spoke of our history and how it might end, and all the love letters that we'll never send. And that was the day I was older. We don't talk enough about grace anymore. Our gratitude sleeps in a box by the door. We shop to feel better and live in the store, and fellowship keeps getting colder. The day I was older was all in my head. I counted them down and I colored them red, then wished like the devil there was more to be said, but that was the day I was older. We don't talk enough about grace anymore. Our gratitude sleeps in a box by the door. We shop to feel better and live in the store, and fellowship keeps getting colder. The day I was older, the day I was older,
Hope Amelia's still out there. And Betsy and Rob Crandall. Boy. Gotta get more of the Meadow people on board on these shows, you know. Well, we don't have to, but sure would be nice. I miss that place. I miss those people. I miss the river. I do. Well, I lived. I didn't fall down. That's good.
Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud house 4 feet tall, so we can walk around without feeling small. It'll have a mud front porch, a mud patio, even mud toilet seats in case you gotta go. It'll also have hot and cold running mud, so fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud variety store with different mud departments on every floor, with mud elevators, mud escalators, a muddy cafeteria with mud-caked waiters, serving muddy coffee from muddy percolators. Fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna build a mud-powered automobile with mud-filled crash dummies sitting at the wheel. We'll take it out and test it on muddy mountain roads with mud-covered landmines waiting to explode. With a sexy advertisement, we can turn mud into gold. Fetch me a bucket of mud. Fetch me a bucket of mud, Maggie, fetch me a bucket of mud. We're gonna manufacture a mud politician with mud puppy eyes and a muddy sense of mission. He'll muddy up the House floor, muddy up the Senate, muddy up the meaning of the mud committee minutes. He'll set new foreign imported mud limits. Fetch me a bucket of mud.
That was for Amelia and Bunky. Thanks for coming, you guys. Thanks all you guys for coming. Let me lean in for a second here. Amelia is so happy. I'm happy if you're happy, Amelia. Thanks for the good work you're doing. Thank you for the good work you're doing. Thanks for the good work everybody's doing. And that includes showing up here on a Tuesday night and supporting me. You have no idea how much this means to me. So hopefully I will not fall down. Hopefully I will not have to do this flat on my back next week. And we'll see how the warmer weather treats me. You may get to watch me kind of slowly sink into the west. But hey, what are you going to do? You know, it's something to do on a Tuesday night, you know, small town, nothing to do. Yeah. See you back here. Thank you. Thanks to my kids for being here. Thank you, James. Thank you, Alice. Thank you for my sister and my mom. And for Amelia, too. And for Betsy. And for my darling Diane, the hand, for being my inspiration. Good night.